All right, let's talk about one of the most unique antidepressants on the market, bupropion. It really stands out from the crowd, and in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what makes it so different. We're talking powerful benefits, but also some pretty serious risks you need to know about.
So let's just play a little game here. Imagine the ideal antidepressant. For so many people, a huge drawback of common treatments is what they do to their personal lives. So, what if there was an option that just didn't have those typical sexual side effects? And hey, while we're building this perfect pill, let's tackle another really common concern: weight gain. What if this medication didn't cause that? And maybe, just maybe, even helped you lose a little bit? And for the final touch, instead of that fatigue that can come with some medications, what if this one actually gave you a real boost in energy and motivation? So let's see. No sexual side effects, no weight gain, and more energy? I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, of course, there's always another side to the story. We're talking about bupropion, which you might know by its brand name, Wellbutrin. And yeah, while those benefits are very real for a lot of people, it is far from a perfect pill. Because that very same medication, the one with all those amazing upsides, can also crank up your anxiety, mess with your blood pressure, and, in rare cases, even carries a serious risk of seizures. This right here is the central trade-off we're going to explore. So, what is it that makes bupropion so different from everything else? Well, to really get its unique profile of pros and cons, we've got to look at the science of how it actually works inside your brain. And here it is, the core difference. Most antidepressants, think of the common SSRIs, they mainly target a brain chemical called serotonin. Bupropion is a total outlier. It works on two completely different chemicals, dopamine and norepinephrine. Now, this focus on dopamine and norepinephrine is exactly why it feels so different. You know, these are the chemicals that are all about motivation, focus, energy, and that feeling of reward. That's why you'll often hear bupropion described as a more activating antidepressant. It's poking the very systems that govern our get up and go. Okay, so with that science in our back pocket, let's dive into the four major upsides, the things that give this medication its really strong reputation. First and foremost, the sexual side effects. So many other antidepressants can tank your libido or interfere with sexual function, which, let's be honest, is a huge reason people stop taking them. Bupropion usually doesn't do this. In fact, sometimes doctors will add it to another antidepressant just to cancel out those effects. That is a massive deal for someone's quality of life. Okay, benefit number two is all about weight. Unlike a lot of other medications that are pretty well known for causing weight gain, bupropion is considered weight neutral. And for some people, it can actually lead to a little bit of weight loss, which makes it a super appealing option if that's a side effect you're worried about. And benefit number three, this one ties right back to that dopamine and norepinephrine action. You know, if someone's depression shows up as just constant exhaustion, sleeping all the time, zero motivation, bupropion can sometimes be that activating push they need to get their energy and drive back. And here is a really fascinating fourth benefit. Bupropion is also a really effective way to help people stop smoking. I mean, it's actually prescribed under a different name just for that. So why does it work? Well, it acts on those same dopamine-driven reward pathways in the brain that get hijacked by nicotine addiction. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so we've covered all the good news. Now it's time for the other side of the coin. It is absolutely crucial to understand that this medication is not for everyone, and it comes with some really serious things to consider. There are three big risks we really need to talk about: the risk of seizures, its potential to actually increase anxiety, and what it can do to your blood pressure. Let's break each of those down. The seizure risk. Now, it's low for most people at normal doses, but it goes up, and goes up significantly in specific groups. This is exactly why a doctor will almost never prescribe it to someone with a history of an eating disorder like anorexia or bulimia, or someone who already has a seizure disorder. Next up, anxiety. That same activating quality that helps with fatigue can totally backfire for some people. It can feel like you've had way too much coffee. You get jittery, restless. Maybe you can't sleep, especially in those first few weeks. So if someone already has a tough time with severe anxiety or panic attacks, this might not be the best first move. And finally, blood pressure. Yep, bupropion can cause a mild increase. Now, for most people, it's not a huge deal, but it is definitely something doctors will keep a close eye on, especially in patients who already have a history of high blood pressure. So, you've got the major upsides on one hand and the serious downsides on the other. How do you make sense of it all? Well, the goal is never about finding a perfect pill. It's about finding the right personal fit for an individual's unique symptoms and their own health history. This table really brings the whole trade-off into sharp focus, doesn't it? On one side, you've got solutions for things like fatigue and those annoying side effects from other meds. But on the other side, you have clear do-not-use situations for things like anxiety and seizure risk. It's all about weighing which column a person's individual health story best fits into. And honestly, this is the most important thing to take away from all of this. There's no such thing as a single best antidepressant. Why? Because everyone's brain chemistry is incredibly personal. What is a miracle drug for one person might do absolutely nothing for someone else. And finding the right fit, well, that's a journey, and that's completely normal. So just to recap, bupropion's unique personality really comes down to these 4 key things that make it stand out. It can improve energy, it avoids those sexual side effects, it avoids weight gain, and it can help people quit smoking. It's a really powerful tool, but it's one that has to be matched to the right person. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Maybe the goal isn't this big search for a single, perfect pill, but the much more important journey of finding the right, personalized fit for your own unique brain and body.